Hey everyone, it's Brett and we are back. I am here with Jessica. Jessica, tell everyone what book we're talking about today.
Oh my Lord, what is it even called, Brett? Is it called Cozy Holly Inn?
Christmas at Cozy Holly Inn by Meredith. Okay, we're going to have to start all over. Yeah, because I can't remember.
Ho, ho, ho. Welcome to the Bookish Introverts Podcast. Join host Amazon bestselling author Brett Nelson and avid reader Melanie Dyer as they dive in to review books they've read, then chat with the amazing authors behind them. Quiet minds, big bookshelves. You don't want to miss it.
Hey everyone, it's Brett and we are back. And today we have 3 people in the podcast studio with us. So my co-host, you're going to recognize, Jessica Riggins, has been here several times. Over here, we've got my cousin, Melissa Brown. Melissa, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Hey, Jessica, tell them what book we're talking about, what book we read.
Okay, it's Christmas at Cozy Holly Inn
by Meredith Summers.
I got it right.
I actually have read one of her books before. I was like, okay, this name sounds really familiar. She writes these summer, like beachy themed books. And so I had actually read one of her books a couple years ago. So, and it's a really good book. It's kind of a quick read. Which is kind of what you need when you're in the holidays. Sometimes you kind of need a quick read that you don't have to think a lot about.
And easy.
Yeah, and that's kind of what this is. So we brought Melissa in today because I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of Christmas trivia. I had Melissa pick out some trivia questions that she found online. She'll ask us the question. Then we'll give about 5 seconds before we answer to give the people that are listening maybe a chance to play along.
Okay.
And so I thought that would be a little fun, a little bit something different to do. I do want to preface this by saying I kind of brought Melissa on at the last minute, so she did not have time to read the book. So she won't be able to talk to us about the book stuff. She will chip in just as we're talking about general stuff. So tell us what you thought about the book.
I liked it. Like we were talking about, I think it was an easy read. It was a fast read. And as we'll get into it, obviously, but the one thing that kind of a key component of the book is the cat. And I'm not a cat person.
Me either.
Me either. I can chime in on that.
And I'm just like, not to be mean, but I'm just like,
yes,
there's no way I would have kept that cat.
Me either.
Dealt with all of because it wasn't a nice cat at first, to her anyway.
Well, I mean, honestly, is there any such thing as a nice cat? This is why I don't like cats. And honestly, I'm not an animal lover. It just in general. I don't really like dogs either. Now, I don't kick puppies when I see them. I'm not saying I'm that kind of person.
Not that bad.
I'm not that bad. Look, I'm a single guy. I can barely take care of myself. I don't want to take care of an animal too.
Yeah. I mean, they really are a huge responsibility. I do have 2 dogs, and I mean, they're a financial burden.
They are.
They really are. I shouldn't say it that way.
They're expensive. And
I don't know how many times I've thought this and said it. I'm like, my house would be so much cleaner if I didn't have dogs. They track in dirt from the backyard. Yeah. They shed dog hair, and it is what it is.
Yeah,
it's a commitment.
And I'm not the type of person. I don't want to sit and pet a dog or a cat. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, but I would say if you're a person like me that really doesn't want to play with them, doesn't want to pet them all the time, a cat's probably way to go because a cat doesn't care whether you exist
really
or not.
independent.
As long as they have food, they don't care whether you exist or not.
Right. Feed me, human.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So if you love animals, the storyline does involve a very playful, I don't remember what kind of dog it was. Do you remember? Like a lab or something?
Honestly, I just can't remember.
Yeah, it's a dog named Snowflake. Snowball.
I think it's Snowflake. Is it Snowflake?
Yeah, it's like a big playful dog. It's like a lab or something like that. A collie.
Yeah,
and then a cantankerous cat. Yeah, so if you're an animal lover, animals are fun to read about. This would be a good one for you because there is that element to it. So tell me are you, when it comes to Christmas, there's usually 2 types of people when it comes to Christmas.
Okay.
Can't wait for it to be over, and I hate for it to end. What spectrum do you fall on?
I feel like somewhere in the middle. I am so ready for it to get here. And this year, unlike years past, I've actually started early with my Christmas shopping. I'm typically a wait to the last minute type of person to just get it all done.
Now, when you say last minute, are you talking the week of Christmas or?
Yeah, I'll say the week of Christmas,
Okay.
or maybe even a couple weeks leading up to it.
Okay.
And maybe not Christmas Eve trying to get all my shopping done. I'm not that bad. But this year, though,
I'm too homicidal for the Christmas
I
Eve shopping.
started,
Yeah.
I would say, at some point in November. And because I did, though, it's almost seemed to make it very prolonged in that, oh my gosh, like I'm excited about the gifts that I've got and I can't wait to give them to that person. But now I've had to wait a really long time. I'm like, it's never going to get here. I'm like, is it here yet? And this past week at work, it was, to me, was the longest week. It just drug on. And I thought it was never going to end. But I'm ready. Like, I usually am ready for it to be over. Like when the time comes and you do all the festivities and you open all the presents, and I'm usually like, okay, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it to be over now. I'm ready to like pack it all up and be done with it.
Yeah.
What about you?
What about you?
What about you?
What about Melissa?
I'm kind of the same. I'm a last minute shopper too. It's just trying to figure out what to get, when to go. I'm pretty much finished for this year, but I'm kind of the same way. It's like, you're ready for it, the excitement, and like you say, just getting the gifts to give to everyone. But then once that hits, I'm like, okay, now I'm just ready to decompress and, just take it easy. But I do enjoy Christmas.
Okay. I love Christmas too. And I'm the type that I hate to see it go. To me, December 26th is the saddest day of the year. But I have to say, I have not been as into Christmas this year as I have in the past. I've got my tree up. It's not even decorated yet. And as a time recording, we're 4 days away from Christmas Eve, 5 days away from Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I'm probably not even going to decorate my tree because what's the point? Like, honestly, I'm the type of person that has my tree up and decorated by Halloween.
I say it's usually done super early.
Yeah.
For you.
So for somebody like that,
Yeah.
is it that early? And the fact that you haven't?
Yeah. Well, and
what's wrong with you?
I don't, and that's why I just have not been as excited about it. I'm not Grinchy. But I don't know. Honestly, I am the type of person that will, like I said, I'll have it up by a lot of times by Halloween or shortly thereafter. Yeah. And I've still had my tree up at March before.
Wow. You've left it up that long. Some people just leave it year round, don't they?
I love just the lights on the tree. It's just,
they're so pretty.
Watching TV at night and have all the lights off and you just have that Christmas tree on.
Yeah. That's like magical. It's very peaceful.
And there is like a magical, like, there's something about Christmas time that is just magical. I don't know how to explain it, but it is.
Yeah, there is. Well, and once Christmas is gone and you get the Christmas tree down, I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just me because I love Christmas so much. But it's like once the Christmas tree goes down and all the Christmas is put away, it's just winter's just bleak and gray and
there's no more festivities. It's just like, well, now we're just in winter.
There's nothing else to look forward to. You don't have all the lights anymore. You drive around town and although I'm noticing this year there's not even as many people decorating their homes on the outside as much. I feel like more people decorate for Halloween these days than for Christmas.
I think so too. I've not seen as many Christmas in my neighborhood too.
Yeah, in the neighborhoods, and I'm not throwing stones at that because I haven't decorated the outdoor of my house in a couple years.
I haven't either.
I spent hundreds of dollars on lights to deck out the outside of the house and I haven't even used them the last couple years.
Well, it's so much work, y'all.
It is a lot of work.
I feel like my husband would love to. Yeah. And all the inflatables and things. I think my husband would love for our house to be one of those houses that has all of those things in the yard. But dang, those are expensive.
They are. Yeah.
Who can afford that? I can't.
Although I'm not as big of a fan of the inflatables. They're pretty to look at. When they're not on, they're just laying on the ground.
I agree. Yeah. To me, that's tacky looking.
Yeah, you pretty much have to have them on running the whole time. But otherwise, it's...
I agree. I haven't been the biggest fan of inflatables myself. I think my husband does like them, but and then there's just obviously other things that aren't inflatables that you can decorate your yard with. But.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I've got the kind that aren't inflatables, and in fact, a neighbor across the street, he came over to my house while I was out kind of puttering around, and he was like, "You have not decorated your house outside in the last couple of years. What are we supposed to look at?"
Yeah, I think your neighbors get used to it if you do it every year.
Yeah, they do.
And they miss it if you don't do it.
Yeah. He was like, you got to get back to the habit. I said, I'll be happy to leave them out one day and you can decorate. When I come home from work, he was like,
it can just be decorated.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do that. So,
there are so many Christmas movies running through my brain right now about stuff like that. Is it Jingle All the Way? Is that one? Or Christmas with the Cranks?
Oh, I love Christmas with the Cranks.
The Cranks, that's what it is. Because they decided they're not going to do Christmas this year, and their neighbors are just furious with them. So funny.
Some of their neighbors were Karens.
Yes.
Oh my God.
They were.
Listen, if I don't want to decorate my house, I don't have to.
I have to do it.
That's right. I mean, they were like having to get out of their house under cover of night or trying to sneak out so their neighbors wouldn't see them just leaving their house.
Yeah. Although I have to say, it feels like there's a certain charm to living in that kind of neighborhood too.
Yes.
Where everybody participates, where everybody knows each other. You get to the end of that movie where you find out one of the characters' wives, her cancer has come back. Yeah. Everybody rallies around her. There's a certain charm to Christmas movies in that way because I feel like there's a camaraderie and a closeness in Christmas movies that doesn't exist so much. Like, do you feel like the world's not like that?
No, right. Yeah, it's not like that anymore. Yeah, because I just have a couple of neighbors on my street that I'm close to, and everyone else I don't really know. So, same.
And I feel like if you live in a cul-de-sac, now there is that creates, I think, you have to be able to know your neighbors if you live in the same little cul-de-sac. Mm-hmm. So I definitely know a few people that live in little cul-de-sacs, and they do, like, it's like 3 houses or 4 houses, and they do all know each other pretty well. Yeah. And like with us, just the types of neighborhoods we live in. I mean, I live very close. I have a really close just right beside me, and then a couple across the street. I mean, we're pretty close to one another. Right. And I did get to know the one that's on that one side of me because we shared a fence, and then he was going to replace the fence, and then we had to deal with our dogs, like trying to get into their yard or out in the neighborhood. We would happen to put them on like leashes and stuff, and it's like, would you hurry up with that fence? But they were nice, and we got to know them that way. I mean, it is kind of sad that nowadays you don't really get to know your neighbors that well.
Right. Yeah.
But I know Melissa does, though. You have a pretty good relationship with your neighbors.
Yeah, I do. The lady beside me and then across the street. So when we built our houses on the neighborhood, we're still the original from our street. So I have gotten to know them, of course, been there 27, 28 years now. So we're pretty close to them. So that helps. But others have come and gone, So.
Yeah.
And aren't you kind of at the end of a street, right?
Yeah. Now it does wrap around to another street. Yeah.
Okay.
The end of it.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a little bit something charming about Christmas movies in that way, because I feel like it captures society in a way that it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, and I think the movie romanticizes a lot of things.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
They do.
But it's a fictional world, and that's what we like about it, I think.
In books and movies, we like reading about a fictional world. Yeah. So when it comes to Christmas shopping, do you prefer like a in-store experience, or are you more of an online shopper? What do y'all like? Jessica?
I guess a little bit of both. I think in years past, I would probably much prefer to go in and do my shopping in person. Nowadays, it's just more convenient to do online shopping. Yeah. And then you're not having to fight the crowds. Like, traffic is horrible this time of year. Oh my gosh. Trying to get in and out of stores. And I think, like, I hate to say this, but this time of year brings out the worst in people.
It does.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's kind of like,
and
it can bring out the best in people, but it can also bring out the worst in them. And when you're talking shopping, it can bring out the worst in them.
It really can.
And to avoid that, online shopping is the way to go.
Yeah. What about you?
I think I do more in-store shopping. I do a few things online, but I do. But the crowds and the people, I just went shopping yesterday. So then the closer you get to Christmas, I feel like you say it's just the traffic and everyone. But I'm the same. I do a little of both, but mainly in-store shopping for me. So.
Yeah. I really prefer in-store shopping, and that's usually what I do. But I've actually done more online shopping this year than I have done in the past.
Yeah.
So
same here. My husband kind of has an aversion to online shopping. He is so afraid that somebody is going to steal your package. And that is a concern.
That's something to think about.
Yeah.
What's it called? Porch pirate.
Yeah.
And that is a concern. He's so afraid that if you're not there to get it, the second it's delivered, that somebody's going to steal
Yeah.
it.
Well, honestly, it happens.
If I hear them out there delivering it, I'm at home. I immediately like go get it because people they'll just follow those trucks.
And the other concern is they will deliver it to the wrong house.
I've seen a lot of that. Online,
Yes.
people saying if
On
this
those-
is your porch,
like resident forum, and it's like, I've got your package. Are you so and so?
Yeah, every day I see several on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's also a concern. So it's kind of there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah, there are. And I feel like, again, everything intrinsically changed in our world after the C word, COVID.
Yes,
True.
It was an eternity. They tried to keep us all away from each other. And, it was such a horrible time. And I think a lot of people in that, even though it felt like an eternity to us when we were living through it, that short amount of time really changed people's minds in shopping online more. But I prefer an in-store. I like to feel, because how many times have you gotten something in the mail that you ordered online and it's cruddy quality once you got it?
Right.
Isn't there kind of a running joke about order something from Temu and got it, and it's obviously like not what you thought you were getting.
Yeah, exactly. You thought you were getting something big and it was 3 inches tall.
Yeah. And I don't like to send things back.
Me
I don't want to deal with packaging up, going to the post office or whatever. So
it costs more to send it back than it does to just keep it.
So I'd rather just go in the store and get what I need. Yeah.
So one more thing I want to do before we get into the book, I thought it would be fun for us to bring in our favorite Christmas ornaments. So did you bring one, Jessica?
Well, I brought one. Now, I'm not going to say this is my favorite, but it's a memorable one. And there's kind of like a little story with it. So this was I believe this was my grandparents' Christmas ornament, that they would have on their tree because we're their grandkids. So my brother's on one side, I'm on the other, our little faces. And so somehow I ended up with it. and I lovingly put it on my tree every year. But my husband's like, I just think that is so weird that you have this ornament. Why isn't that on your grandparents' tree or your parents' tree? Which I think he's assuming that it's was my mom and dad's, but I'm almost certain it actually was my grandparents. And he just thinks that's the weirdest thing. He's like, why would you have that ornament? They should have it, and they should have it on their tree. I'm like, I don't know, but I just think that is just so cute. And because it was one that that was an ornament that had my face on it and my brother's face.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And it's really old.
To bring one.
Oh, that's okay. But it does. We on my granny's Christmas tree, we had the same. We each, my brother and I, had one. Pictures from when we were little, and so they always stayed on her tree too. And then she passed away, so then we got them. But same as when we were younger.
Tell us about it. What is it? I forgot to tell Melissa to bring one.
Okay. Well, it was kind of similar. It was just kind of like a little ornament, just like a ball, but the front was flat, and then just had our picture in the front of it.
Oh, okay.
So, and it was just when we were young, probably around that same age that y'all are. It looks like too.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
My brother was their first grandchild, so of course that makes him just super special, and the rest of us just aren't as special as that.
But I'm the first grandchild on both sides too, so I have to agree with him.
Yes. Thinking first grandbaby.
Right.
Everybody else can't live up to that.
Right.
We get dibs because first. You're the first in the Brown family.
Both sides.
Yeah, on both sides.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a middle child, so that whole middle child syndrome, it's a thing, y'all.
It's a thing. So mine's not quite as sentimental as your guys. This is a cloisonne. It's a metal nutcracker, and for those of you that are listening, the legs are movable, and they're handmade and hand painted in Beijing.
Oh, wow.
I think it's in Beijing.
Wow.
So I got this at Dillard's a few years ago, and this is one of my favorite ornaments.
I like that.
So and at Dillard's. Yeah, and then I've got another one. This is also a cloisonne. It's a little cardinal, and again, they're hand painted. I think it's in Beijing somewhere. They're not made in the United States. So these are kind of my little favorite ones.
Mm-hmm. That is really cool, and it moves.
Yeah, it's got movable. It's got movable parts. Yeah, like on the bird.
That is so neat.
Yeah,
that. Yeah, the tail moves.
Yeah. It's really neat.
So those are some of my favorites. Now, when it comes to ornaments, what do you guys like? I tend to like a little bit more expensive ones, glass ones. I like ones that are kind of pass downable. I'm not a fan of shatterproof plastic ornaments. I know a lot of people use those just because they're
Cheap.
well, they're
Yeah.
cheap and they're, if you've got a cat that likes to knock everything off the tree, you don't want Waterford ornaments on the tree.
Right.
So where do you guys land on that?
I do like, I have this thing about Christmas ornaments, and I like to buy an ornament to like commemorate maybe a place that I've been. My husband and I went to Universal Studios. That was like our honeymoon, was going to Florida and going to Universal Studios because we both love like roller coasters and stuff. But we have an ornament from Universal Studios, and my sisters took me on a bachelorette weekend trip to Vegas. So I have a ornament from Las Vegas.
Mhm.
So I like to get ones that commemorate memories,
Mhm.
Yeah.
trips, vacations, and things like that.
Towns
Yeah,
you
that's a good
visited.
idea.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to get a new ornament every year. I didn't this year, but
No, I didn't either. Like I said, my granny always bought us a Hallmark ornament every year. So then I've got all the ones that she's always put them in our stocking,
Yeah.
and so she would
Yes.
always buy for all of us.
That's
so I
cool.
like having those ornaments
Yeah.
too. That
Yeah.
you've gotten since you were younger.
and now that she's not with you anymore, there's so much more sentimentality
Right.
to them
Yeah.
because of who
Definitely.
they're from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's
Okay.
go into the book.
All right. let's
So
do it.
again, it's called Christmas at Cozy Holly Inn by Meredith Summers. Basically, we've got the main character of Julie. She's in her car. She's in the middle of nowhere. She's on her way to Pinecone Falls, Vermont.
Yes, I mean,
Vermont.
everything about this is so like typical of a
It is.
Christmas. It's just setting the scene for a Christmas story.
Yes, I mean the book we did last time, the Chronicles of a Lost Boy at Christmas. That one was not as Christmassy. It was really a kind of the origins of Christmas kind of story.
Okay.
So you don't really get all the Christmas feels with that one.
Mhm.
Okay.
With this one,
Get it.
you do. So kind of take us into it, Jessica. What's she going to Pinecone Falls for?
Okay. So her grandmother, Ida, I believe,
She's 80 years old.
she's 80 years old, and she has owned and ran for so many years the Cozy Holly Inn in this small town in Vermont. And so she would go every summer. She would spend the summer at Cozy Holly Inn with her grandma. And so she has a lot of fond memories of the inn, of that town. She had a couple of friends that were kind of like local kids that she would like hang out with while she was there. So Ida is just gotten too old to run the inn by herself. She could probably do it if she had help. But there's really no one there to help. And so she decided she's probably going to end up selling it to another inn owner that's not just across the field from them.
Yeah. Now, at
Not
this
far at all.
point, the inn has been closed down for a couple of years.
And it's kind of in disrepair. It's
Yes.
dirty, dusty, needs some things fixed. So she's coming into town because they want to throw one last big Christmas Eve party.
Before
Which-
the Cozy Holly Inn sells to the neighbor.
Yes, before it's sold. And they don't really know what their plans are with it. Are they going to
Yeah.
keep
Tear
it
it
and
down.
restore it? Are they going to tear it down? They don't really know what their plans are for it. So they just want one last big
Yes.
hoorah.
Because the grandma is famous in this area for her huge
Mhm.
Christmas parties every
Mhm.
year. So of course it's been a couple of years since they've had one because grandma's now in assisted living.
Mhm.
So that's why she wants to have one last huge Christmas
Yeah.
party.
And
She wants to give that to her grandmother.
Yes. And, perfect timing because she just got laid off from her job. She's some kind of a writer, like magazine.
Yeah, a magazine writer.
Yes. Laid off, but she has hopes of getting a new job. She's got a friend from
At a
Boston.
fashion
So that's where
magazine.
she's been living, is Boston.
Yes.
So Boston, little ways away. So it's kind of the whole typical like small town girl, which she wasn't raised there. That's the thing. That's where I kept kind of forgetting.
Yeah.
Is she wasn't raised there, but she spent
visited
summers
a lot.
there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a small town girl who has to go off to the big city because
Yeah.
she's outgrown this small town and she wants the big city life and all this. So it's kind of that vibe for sure.
Mhm.
But she wants to come. She wants to do this for her grandma. She loves her grandma, but her whole mentality is, I'm just here to do this party, and then we're done. And then I'm back to Boston. She's hopeful that she'll have a job interview with this magazine, and she'll be back on
really excited to get out of Pinecone Falls. She's there. She's excited to do the party, but it's not a place she wants to live.
Yeah, she's not looking to permanently reside there.
The first thing that gave me all the feels when I was reading this book, she pulls up to the Cozy Holly Inn and gets out of the car, and she's knee deep in snow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Do you like lots of snow, or do you want just enough that it's there?
I like a lot of snow. I'd like to just have it like maybe just one time a year, just like to see a lot of pretty snow and then be gone.
Okay. Okay.
And we wouldn't know what to do with knee-deep snow in this area.
No, and I'm just saying, Christmas is this Thursday. Today's Saturday. Christmas is this coming Thursday. It's going to be 80 stinking degrees here.
It is.
Okay, Mother Nature, we are really going to have a talk. It is not supposed to be summer at Christmas. I mean, we're literally going to be fighting wasps on Christmas Day.
We will be. Yeah.
Oh, this infuriates me.
I agree. It's not supposed to be warm on Christmas Day, whether you have snow or not.
Yeah, exactly. So the minute I saw that, I was like, I even wrote it on my nose. I want that. I want snow that day.
So like a really good, pretty
So
snow.
it would be fun to experience it. Like we all need to go on a trip somewhere where they do have that kind of snow.
My friend Christina and I have talked about that. She's kind of my travel partner. Like we go places, and I was like, okay. And usually we like to go to the beach or someplace like that. And I said, we need to do a cold weather vacation sometime.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to do that. I want to go somewhere. I mean, literally around here, we can get 6 or 7, 8 inches of snow. And for our area, that's a lot.
That's unusual to get that much.
Yeah.
Here.
We can literally get 6 or 7 inches of snow, and it'll be gone the next day.
It will be. Yeah. It doesn't stay around very long.
Yeah. I want to live somewhere where it snows and it stays on the ground for 3 months.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like to you, like when we were younger, that we had snows.
Yes.
Maybe not that much, but it seems like there was a lot more snow and it did last longer. Maybe it's because we were kids.
Maybe it just seemed like that. Okay.
As I've gotten older, it just seems
global warming.
When I was born, we lived sort of in a field, sort of behind my grandma and Grandpa Nelson's house, and there was so much snow on the ground when Mom went into labor. My grandpa, they couldn't get to her house for some reason, so. My dad, I can't remember if it was my dad and my grandpa or if it was my grandpa and my dad's brother. For some reason, they had to help Mom, a pregnant woman in labor, climb over a fence.
Oh my goodness.
To get to the car.
Gosh.
There was so much snow on the ground.
And where was this at?
Here, baby.
What?
Yeah.
That's
and I was born in 1973. So, so it's,
I agree. Back then, I think we probably did get more winter weather, and maybe it stuck around longer.
And of course, our hospital here in town at the time was ran by nuns and stuff. And Mom said, "I didn't even get to hold you because all the nuns." I was the only patient in the hospital.
Oh wow!
At that time,
they weren't giving you up.
And she said, "I didn't even get to hold you all that much because the nurses, I never could find you."
Oh, that's sweet though.
So I had a loving. Ushering into the world.
Yes.
So anyway, so we meet Julie. Tell them about who's the male character in the book, because in these kind of books there always has to be a love interest. Of some sort.
Definitely. Wouldn't have it any other way. So his name's Nolan Miller, and lo and behold, he is one of the childhood buddies that she would run around with. But buddy might be a strong word, because it kind of seemed like they got on each other's nerves when they were like teenagers or preteens or whatever.
It was almost kind of like a frenemies type thing.
Yep, I think so. They kind of tolerated each other, I think. And
they weren't friends, they weren't enemies, somewhere in between.
Yeah, because it maybe was the three, because there's another friend of hers that kind of comes into the picture. Oh, what is her name? Help me out. I can't remember.
Ivy.
Is it Ivy? Yes, it is Ivy. Okay. And so she comes in a little bit later. She runs into Ivy, but I might be getting ahead of us on that one.
So Nolan Miller lives next door. He and his family live next door to the Cozy Ivy Inn. They've got a B&B.
Well, his family is the ones that own and run the other kind of, what did you say? It was a B&B?
It was a B&B, yeah.
And they're the ones that are going to be buying the Cozy Holly Inn from her. So that's a big part of it,
and
too.
His family is sort of in a grief situation, because Nolan's mother the matriarch of the family, passed away 3 years ago. I think it was somewhere
on
there.
Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day.
Oh.
Well, I mean, nothing puts a damper on Christmas Day like losing somebody during the holidays.
Yeah.
You know,
and
so
she loved Christmas. That was like one of her favorite holidays.
he loved Christmas. Well, once she passed away, Nolan's dad basically decided there was going to be no Christmas from that point on.
Yeah. So it was Nolan's grandfather and his father to keep people here, because the grandfather was his mom's dad. So he lost his daughter, and then his dad lost his wife, and then he lost his mom. So it's like, so there's like the connection there with all three of them to her. And so they just did not take that well. Like the grandpa and the dad did not take that well at all. And so they're just grieving the loss of her. They just loved her so much, and she just brought so much joy to their lives and stuff. But when she died, it was like they just didn't want anything to do with Christmas anymore, because that just was too painful, I guess. It was a painful reminder of
it's hard to go through the charade of the holidays when you're in grief.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but 3 years had gone by since she'd passed, and they still, like, they wouldn't even decorate their inn. And now this is a business. They have customers. They have people staying at their B&B.
Part of why you choose a place like that is you want the place to demonstrate the season.
Well, yeah, you want it to be decorated,
you want
and you want it to feel, again, Christmas time. You just want that feeling, that magical feeling,
that nostalgia. And of course, Nolan's like, Dad and Grandpa, the customers, they're asking for it, and they're like, we don't care, we're not decorating.
Right.
Yeah. So they're like a couple of grumpy old men.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so now coming up, Jessica's favorite character makes his appearance.
Yeah, so she gets to the inn, and she's trying to get the lights on, trying to get the heat on, which Ida had made sure that things were still turned on, like electricity and water and things like that. So she had to like turn things on, and kind of she was checking everything out. And then she
taking the slip covers off the furniture.
And she's kind of noticing the disrepair and things. She's like, man, I got a lot of work to do, got a lot of cleaning to do. And then she hears like something fall or
some sort of noise,
a noise, where she's like, what is that? And
because there should be no one in there, because this place has been vacant for 2 years.
Yes. And so come to find out, and then she's like a little scared, not knowing is there an intruder in here or what?
So she's sort of skulking around the house, trying to find where the noise is coming from.
Shoots out this ball of fur. And
she opens, I think, the door to the basement, and she opens the door. She finally figures out that that sounds like where it's coming from. She opens the door, and this cat shoots out.
Yep. And of
course, my first thought went, okay, the place has been empty for 2 years. Where'd this cat come from? It has not been in there for 2 years.
Yeah, because that was one thing she noticed, that it didn't look malnourished, and it looked like it was in good health. So a little suspicious. And so she decides, and I guess the cat lets her, he doesn't just take off and like doesn't reappear, because I would think it would just like take off and it's like, well, never saw that cat again. Right. It just took off. Because was it still in the house, or did it run outside? At that point, I guess it was still in the house.
Yeah.
So,
it ran and hid somewhere.
Yeah.
So of course, the first thing Julie does, she's only in town temporarily, so she doesn't really want a cat. So she rounds it up, gets it put in a carrier, and she takes it to the local animal shelter, which is ran by her grandmother's best friend. I think her name is Myrtle.
Yep, Myrtle.
And she tries to get her to take the cat, but Myrtle is like, we don't really have room for it. Can you keep it? And of course, Julie's like, no, I'm only here for a short amount of time. I've got all this work I have to do at the end. I don't have time to deal with the cat. So Myrtle's like, well, okay, we can take it, but we're going to have to euthanize the cats that's been here the longest so we can make... And of course...
pulled at her heartstrings.
Yes, and my first thought was, okay, you're very good at manipulating people. Come to find out, though, there's a story behind all this. Of course, Julie doesn't want the cat to be euthanized, but she's like, okay, I will take the cat back and I'll keep it for the amount of time I'm here. But you got to make room for this cat, because when I go back, I'm not taking it back.
As soon as there's an opening, you let me know.
Yeah. So she keeps the cat. Tell them what the story is behind why the cat's there. Why it's in the house.
Well, I think it was her grandma, didn't they? They've been scheming in hopes that she would like fall in love with it and want to keep it.
Gotcha.
Because you find out pretty quickly that Ida is trying to kind of scheme she would love for Julie to come and just fall in love with the inn and would want to run the inn with her grandma where they could run it together. Because Myrtle's like, Ida, she's like, I think I could run it if I had a partner.
She really doesn't like being in assisted living. She's been in assisted living for 2 years, and she's decided she really doesn't like it.
Right.
Yeah, and she thinks she could do it if she had help.
Yeah. Because I don't think her health is so declined that she wouldn't be able to. And she's just I think they're kind of scheming, and they would really love it if Julie would decide to stay and just help her run the inn. Because I think you're pretty early on, that she's in the process of selling it, but she could back out if she wanted to. It wasn't too far in that she couldn't maybe back out.
Which winds up being a little bit of contention between Julie and Nolan too, because Nolan's family really wants this inn.
Yeah.
So she does run into an old friend of hers, which is Ivy, because Ivy runs the pet store.
The pet supply store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, they run to each other. Oh, I haven't seen you in forever. How are you? And they're genuinely happy to see each other. They kind of can just pick up where they left.
And of course, Ivy's like, Nolan is back in town and he's
cute.
He's cute. Yeah. And Ivy's
grown
like,
up.
Yeah. And Julie's like, I don't care how cute he is.
Yes.
She not looking.
Right.
Not interested.
No interest.
And she just remembers him as being annoying, like when they were teenagers and stuff. So I think.
Although, sometimes boys can be a little rambunctious if they kind of like them,
Oh yeah,
that's usually how it happens.
That's just like their way of flirting.
They're doing it because they like you.
Yeah,
exactly. So she ends
Although
up buying
I don't
a few
think
things.
that was the case with them. I'm not sure. I never got the feeling that I never really got the feeling that he
back
had
then
feelings.
I don't think either one of them had romantic feelings for one another. I think they were friends and they just got on each other's nerves. I mean, kind of like brother and sister dynamic. Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah.
So she bought a few things for the cat, just thinking, I'm just going to keep this thing for a few days and then it'll be, she's really just kept telling herself like, just a couple of days, that's it. And she's going to to Myrtle's, she was really hoping that Myrtle would get an opening and she could just take it into the shelter.
Yeah. So she gets a few things. She and Ivy make plans. Ivy's like, well, so while you're in town for however long you're going to be here, let's get together. Ivy's married.
Yes.
She goes back home. She's gone shopping while she was in town to get a few things for the house, a few grocery items. Well, she gets in the house. She takes the cat out of the cage that she was carrying it in, and the cat dashes out of the house into the snow. So she chases after it, and who do they encounter?
Nolan with his dog, and it's a female dog. And we determine the name is Snowflake, I think?
Snowball. I thought it was Snowflake,
Snowball?
but it says Snowball right here.
Okay.
Yeah. In my notes, it says Snowball.
So, Snow something. And I think it's a white dog.
It's a white dog.
If I'm not mistaken. And just very playful. And I want to say it's Snowflake. I don't think it's Snowball. But anyway,
okay.
I want to call it Snowflake.
Okay.
But so just this dog has a fierce love for Nolan. They're very close, and you immediately kind of like Nolan for that. You think he's at least good to this dog and really treats her well. And
I will say, even though I'm not an animal person, the author did a phenomenal job of giving this dog and cat personalities.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that.
There was a very clear personality with that.
With both of them.
Yeah. And temperaments. I felt like the author did a very good job with that.
I agree because you immediately do get a sense of what their personality is like.
Yeah.
And again, with Snowflake, it's like just excited and very young. I have a feeling it's not an old dog. It has a puppy energy for sure, and just so excitable and just very fun loving.
I don't know that it ever said what kind of dog it is, but I get a sort of a Labrador feel.
Yeah, I get like a medium to large sized dog, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe like a shepherd with the long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a, what's that called? Something shepherd.
Like a German shepherd?
Like a maybe or something, or Australian shepherd or something. Where it's got like the longer coat. Yeah. But anyway, that's what I've had envisioned in my head. But so the dog kind of chases the cat up a tree. And so she's kind of frustrated with the whole situation. Does she realize that it's
I don't. At that point, she doesn't, because this is the first time. This is hers and Nolan's meet cute. This is the first time they've met.
Yes, and I don't think it takes them long to realize who each other are.
Yeah, I think it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
They don't have to like introduce themselves to each other or anything. Yeah, so I think when she sees him, they automatically they know who each other is.
I think so. And so then it's kind of like, but she's frustrated because his dog ran the cat up the tree, and she's out and because another thing is that she's got these suede boots on that aren't good for
she
that
is
kind
not
of
for snow.
dressed for Vermont.
Okay.
Yes. And he gives her a hard time about the boot not being dressed properly for Vermont snow and weather and winter, and so it's like I said, a meet cute where they're kind of like annoyed with each other.
Of course, he's like, if you go over to Joe's Mercantile or whatever, you can get you a decent pair of boots. And of course, she's like, I will go there if I want. She was like very
independent.
I don't need a man to tell me what to do.
Yeah. But I think he does like climb up in the tree to help get the cat.
He helps get the cat down.
Yes.
And then she tells him that she's there because she wants to give Grandma one big last hurrah. Yeah. Of course, so there's a little bit of temperament there because she's a little bit frustrated at his dog. And so he goes home and he's very suspicious about her being there, because he's worried that the family has decided they're not going to sell the inn. So that sort of starts the little bit of contention between them.
Yes, I wouldn't even call it a feud. Of course,
no, not really a feud.
He's got his grandpa and dad. They're like grumpy old men, and what is she doing over
he's
there?
Worried
she's up to something.
He's worried that they're going to try to turn it into like a grand reopening rather than
agreed. And I think but really, in reality, I think that is what Ida would like to do. I think Ida's intention, but not Julie's.
Yeah,
at that
because
point.
she knows she's at the point where we could go along with the sale, but if we decided to go against it, they could get out of it. Yeah.
Yes. So, of course, they're just being grumpy old men this whole time.
Yeah.
And I think Nolan is stuck between wanting to make them happy, wanting to please them, and wanting to be his own person at the same time, and maybe going against the grain because he would like to maybe decorate for Christmas. And he's just thinking, okay, I think we've grieved long enough. I think that it's time for us to start moving on, Yeah. And I like the relationship and the arc, the growth arc that happens between him and his dad and grandpa throughout the book.
Yes. There's some good family dynamics there. Another thing I do like about sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with books like this. I do feel like there may have been a little bit of instant attraction at first, but Nolan and Julie didn't start pursuing each other right away. No. So this is not that kind of book. And I'm so glad of that.
Yes, it's not like love at first sight, stars or hearts in your eyes. I immediately love this person. I mean, I love that scene in Frozen where Anna meets the guy, like the prince or whoever, and they're just immediately like, let's get married. And of course it's like they're kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? But they're kind of making fun of that type of thing, I think was the intention of it,
they're kind of making fun of that trope.
Like satire, I guess. The trope. Where it's just kind of like, and of course the sister Elsa's like, really? You just met the guy 2 minutes ago. But, no, we're getting married.
And I'm not saying it never happens. There would probably people listening right now that would be like, that does happen because it happened to me. Okay, fine. If that was your experience. I'm just saying situations like that where people immediately fall in love, I just feel like that's far and few between. What do you think?
Right, I think so too.
I think falling in love is a process.
Not often. Right,
now, I do think you can fall into lust right away.
Oh, yes, definitely.
But there's a difference between falling in love and falling in lust.
Yeah.
Agreed. And people get those two mixed up.
They do.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they're both very strong emotions. So I guess I could see why people
that could happen.
So I'm just not a.
But love is a commitment. It's a long-term commitment to love someone, especially when you're talking about marriage. It's more than just a feeling. Right. It's a commitment, and you have to love that person in the good and the bad. And on the good days, the bad days the same as you do on the good days. Right. I mean, it's, those wedding vows for better, for worse, through sickness, through health, because it's not always going to be good days.
And that's one thing I really enjoyed about this book. I hate books And honestly, most books are kind of like that. That's the
Mhm.
trope. They see each other, they have this instant, and then 2 pages later, they're in this heavy romance. And I don't like reading stuff like that. I like reading the slow burns where maybe the romance doesn't even start until the last quarter of the book. Like, what do you like when it comes to books, Melissa?
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I just don't. To me, I cannot suspend my belief enough to think that you meet and 2 pages later you're in a heavy romance.
Yeah.
To me, that's just too unbelievable.
Well, question for you guys, because I've actually seen this happen in real life. I mean, and I'm sure you have too. I'm sure you've had friends or relatives or whatever where you're like, they jumped into that relationship way too quick.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, it ends badly, and you're like, could have told you that.
Right.
I mean, have you seen it in real life?
Yes.
Like, I mean, I know.
Like if you slow the process down a little bit, just take your time.
Because they just jumped in so fast and just googly eyes, and you're just like,
okay. I probably shouldn't tell y'all this because if my friend is listening, she's going to know I'm talking about her.
I say, no names.
So I'm hoping she doesn't listen to our podcast. I had a good friend that met a guy, and I think this was back in the 90s, so it's been a while.
Oh, okay.
She met this guy, and long time ago, and she just fell in love with him. They started dating and everything. Well, she came up one day, she was like, okay, we're getting married. I was like, what? Because they hadn't been going out that long.
Wow,
I mean, probably a couple months at most.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, what? Why are y'all getting married? And my hand to God, I am not exaggerating. She goes, we both like Dr. Pepper and we both like the color purple.
No.
What?
No.
I was
Are you
like,
quoting her? She really said that.
I am quoting you. I am not exaggerating.
So that's a good enough reason to get married to somebody. You're like purple and Dr. Pepper.
Yes. I was like, please tell me you're joking.
Yes, please tell me this is a joke. Yeah.
And of course, you can say that as best friends. You know,
can.
right?
You
probably would.
certain people.
Yeah. I was like, okay, no. Please tell me your relationship is more deep than Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
The color purple.
And she was like, well, we just love each other. We have so much in common. I was like, Dr. Pepper and purple is not enough in common to get married.
What else do you know about this person?
Yeah. Well, guess what? They got married.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Went through it.
And guess what?
And are they still married?
No.
How long did it last?
Not even a year.
Who would have thought that?
They got talking about Dr. Pepper and
exactly. Once you get past the Dr. Pepper and purple, So, and he was a nice guy. I liked him. If they had dated for a year and a half, 2 years, and
you never know. It could be that 1 in a million time where it actually works out.
It could happen.
I'm sure it has happened. But that's the exception, not the rule.
Exactly. You need more in common than
Dr. to know each other.
I love that story, Brett. That's like my favorite story.
That's hilarious.
That's
so,
awesome.
My dear friend, if you're listening, please forgive me for using your experience. I love you.
And, that was in the 90s. I'm sure she's a lot smarter and a lot more mature now.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's been married 4 times. I'm kidding. She's never going to talk to me again.
She's listening. She's like, this is it. No, I'm not listening anymore.
We've all had those friends where you're like, and you try to give them advice. You try to be like, no, this, like, alarm bells are going off right now. Red flags are going off. Like, don't you see it? And
don't you see the red flags?
Well, and people tend to not. I think it really is true. When you are in love or infatuation, whatever you are, sometimes I think that can blind you to the reality of things.
And I'm sure I've experienced it to some level. We probably all have.
Yeah.
Where we were the stupid ones.
Things that people are telling you. Yeah. Because you're like, no, I don't see that. But then later on, it's like, oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, now I see it.
I see, yeah.
Okay, so Ivy and Julie, they meet up for lunch over at the cafe.
Okay.
And while they're there, I think it was the cafe owner's mother, she comes up and starts talking to Julie because, again, Julie's been around. She didn't, even though she wasn't from there, she visited enough that the townspeople recognize her. They know who she is. Yeah. So she comes up and she just arbitrarily, she makes the comment, oh, I'm so glad you're back to run Ida's Inn. Yeah. Well, who walks in right about the time? Nolan walks in and hears, and so So, of course, Nolan comes up to her, is like, are you here? You need to be straight with me. You need to let us know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, like, what kind of games are you playing?
Yeah, what kind of games are you playing? And of course, she's like, no, we have no intention of, well, he storms out. He's not believing it. Yeah. So that's kind of where a little bit of animosity starts in. But she goes back home, starts working. She gets a call from her friend Cheryl.
Back in Boston.
Tell us about that.
So she's got a friend named Cheryl. I think they worked together at the same magazine, and then Cheryl left that magazine she got a different job at a different magazine,
at a fashion magazine. Yeah.
And so Cheryl is like, hey, there's a job opening that you should apply for at the magazine I'm at now.
Yes.
And so I'll put in a good word for you, so on and so forth. She's like, no, I think you have a good shot at, you're going to get an interview.
She was in her boss's office or whatever, and she noticed that there was a stack of applications there that they were going to bring in for interview. Julie's was at the very top of the application. So she calls her and like, oh my gosh, you're going to get the interview. I'm pretty sure of it. So.
Yeah. So I think she's expecting a phone call to set up the interview. That's what it is. So it's because I'm thinking it's going to be like a phone call, and then maybe she could get called into an in-person interview. But that's what it was. I think waiting for a phone call to set up an actual in-person interview. So this kind of throws a little bit of a wrench in things where it's like not knowing the timing of when the interview
when it's going to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of knew what was going to happen with this almost immediately. I'm probably getting a little bit of ahead, but yeah, I was like, okay, you just watch. She's here to help get this. And then they're going to want to have it on Christmas Eve, and that they're going to want her to come to Boston for Christmas Eve. And of course, that's when the big party is going to be. And I'm like,
yeah,
do businesses really do? In every Hallmark movie you watch, they wind up like, we want you here the day before Christmas, or we want you here the day after.
Can't be any other day.
Yeah, and I'm like, you can't wait until January 2nd.
Yeah, seriously, it's like it's the holidays. Why are you still there?
Yeah. So, and of course, that's what wound up happening. I think they want her back.
Well, they wanted her like on the 27th or something.
Yeah,
so it didn't knock her out of the Christmas Eve party, but then she was going to have to leave like right after.
Her parents are not from here, so they were going to stop in
with Ida. They were going to
bring in Grandma, drive Grandma in. So she wanted to be able to spend time with her parents. She was looking forward to spend time. And
because then, of course, to that point, she's there by herself. Like her parents aren't there yet, and she's been doing all this cleaning, and so she's got to call a plumber because there's some kind of a leak. And Ida's like, "Oh, I know, I have a friend. Let me give you his phone number." And is his name Ned? Maybe Ned. And so it's an old man. She's like, "You're probably older than my grandma," which is like 80. You know, he comes and he's like, "Look at your plumbing." She's like, "Oh gosh."
I'm just envisioning an old bald man with his pants up to his chest.
Yes.
Suspenders.
Oh my goodness. So then it kind of comes to her attention though that she's going to have an inspection in order for her to have catering.
Basically what happened is whatever it is, he comes in and he inspects it. He can't fix it right then. It's going to be a few days before the part comes in. Well, the kink in it is because the inn has been closed for a couple years, they're not allowed to cook and have catering on the premises until
without it
passes this inspection.
Yes.
So
for all of this to fall into place, they got to get the plumbing situated first before the inspection because they wouldn't pass the inspection with the plumbing issue.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh my gosh, the timing is just going to be, they're just going to squeak by barely with getting the plumbing fixed and then getting that inspector in like the day before the party. Cutting it so close. But she's like, I think it's all going to work out. I hope, crossing our fingers that it's all going to work out. So what next?
So as Ned's leaving, he tells her, we got to get the part, but it may be a few days. Well, Ned, when he sees the cat, he thinks it's a dog.
Like his vision is that bad.
Yeah. I'm like, do you really need, if you can't tell the difference between a cat and a dog? So he thinks the cat is a dog. Well, when he opens up the door, he's like, oh, you want out, don't you?
You need to go out.
He lets the cat out.
The cat gets out.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Which that doesn't give her the most confidence in him, just his ability to do much of anything.
Yeah, exactly. So she go that. Well, the cat and the dog, of course, Nolan's out there.
Happens to be walking the dog.
Well, the cat and the dog have this little shuffle.
communication.
And of course, at this point, Nolan is still a little bit miffed at Julie because he thinks they're trying to back out of theirs. So anyway, the cat and the dog wind up getting in some sort of fight.
The cat scratches the
dog's nose. Yeah,
like a pretty deep cut, sounds like. Deep enough for him to have to take it to the vet.
Yeah, they both, and I think the cat has a limp.
And it was like limping, so she decided to take the cat.
Not knowing that each other is going to wind up at the vet.
At the same time.
Yeah, so they get to the vet, and they get to talking. They're both there. You could tell there's tension there. They're trying to be cordial, but they really don't want to talk to each other. When they finally start talking again, when they realize they both went to the same college.
Yeah, and didn't realize it.
Yeah, I don't know if they went at the same time. I can't remember.
Well, I think they did, but they had different classes, and so they never really ran into each other.
Yeah, so that sort of thaws the ice for them to where it kind of gets their friendship back. She tells him about her potential job, everything. So as they talk, they find out that the animals, they're not really in that bad of shape. So when they leave, Nolan finds himself feeling a little bit disappointed because he realizes she may be leaving soon.
Which is I feel like he's torn because there's part of him, the whole reason why he's upset with her is that she could possibly stay and keep running the inn. But at the same time, when she kind of gives him proof that she's not planning on staying, then he's like, feels disappointed that she's not staying.
Yeah. So it's like he's torn in how he should feel in all this. So a day or two later, Julie and Ivy go out to the perimeter of their property because Julie wants a Christmas tree in the house. How far are we out from Christmas at this point? Like maybe a few days?
Right, because I think the whole span of this is maybe a 10-day period.
Yeah, it's not long, a couple weeks tops.
Which to me is like, all this happened in 10 days.
Like going on.
It's a very quick time frame. So they go out to the property because Ivy or Julie remembers that she and her dad used to go out to the back of the property and cut down their own Christmas trees. So they get out there, and who's out there? Who do you think is out there? Nolan's dad. Nolan's dad.
And Grandpa. I think both of them.
Okay. Both of them. And Jessica, tell them what happens.
Well, they were their typical grumpy selves. And basically we're like, you can't cut down a tree on this property. This is being sold to us. And you would be violating the terms of the agreement. Terms and conditions of the sell of it. And so they were like not going to let them cut down a tree. Even though, I mean, it would be a muddy area at that point because it's like, it still belongs to them, but it's almost, it's almost sold to them, but it's not yet.
And it's like, come on, man, it's one tree.
Exactly. Yeah. It's one tree.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they leave. They were like, fine, we're not going to argue with you. Head back to the inn. And she had went and bought some stuff to make homemade ornaments for the party, like little
because her
gifts.
Grandma used to make little gifts to give away.
Yeah. And so I think like they like painted on it, like maybe it was like a glass ornament or something, and they painted Cozy Holly Inn on it or something like that. Yeah. Little personal touches, like. But she asked the Ivy, like, well, that was one part of the day that kind of got deterred, but we still have these ornaments. I would love for you to stay and help me with that. So, and then her husband was there to help with the tree or whatever. And it's like, well, you help put out some lights on the house. So they still were like going to just be there for a little while. He was going to be hanging lights. They were going to be making ornaments.
Yeah. Well, the story kind of switches over to Nolan's dad and granddad. And they go home and they tell Nolan, you are not going to believe what we saw. That girl was out there, was going to cut down a tree. And we told her she couldn't, blah, blah. Well, of course, Nolan feels bad about it, Yeah. So he sort of decides, he kind of goes out on his own, cuts down a tree and takes it to them.
Yeah, I think he called it an olive branch.
An olive branch, yeah.
And again, he knew that would probably upset his dad and grandpa. I think that was the first time that maybe he went against their wishes. So you're seeing some character development in Nolan, where he is willing to maybe go against what they want because he knows it's the right thing to do. And, he's starting to maybe have some feelings for Julie at this point.
Well, and I think, too, he hopes it'll bring his dad and his granddad sort of out of their grief, and it'll bring back their spirit of Christmas.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of character development that happens in this book that I appreciate as a reader because maybe that's not typical of just a rom-com type.
Yeah.
book or movies.
For
so,
sure.
yeah.
I really prefer more family dynamics in books than straight up romance.
Yeah.
So,
'Cause there's
and
both.
with this, you get a little bit of both. Although I feel like this was more family dynamics than
It
romance.
was, because the romance,
there was never really a heavy romance.
No. And it's not until the end, like
Yeah.
the very, very end. where it's
Yeah.
kind
So
of-
if you don't like a very heavy romance book, this is a great one to
Very good
read.
one.
Yeah. So anyway, so he takes her to the tree. He apologizes for his grandparents, and so they have coffee, and he sort of explains why they are the way they are. My dad and grandpa, they're not bad people, but we lost my grandma 3 years ago on Christmas Day. So that sort of gives her a little bit of perspective into why they are.
Yeah.
And of course, he finds himself more attracted to her. But then all of a sudden he remembers, okay, wait, I can't get too deep in this because she's leaving.
Yeah.
So he decides at this point, there's really even no need in even starting a friendship. So he gets up to leave. The next day, Julie goes to a tree at the back of the property. She and Nolan are kind of walking together, and she shows him a tree that had their initials carved in it.
Oh, wow.
Am I right, Julie?
I'm not Julie, I'm Jessica.
Oh, Jessica, yeah.
You're
Well,
Julie
actually,
now.
she on her own, before she runs into Nolan, she's just taking a walk, and she ends up at this tree that she's like, oh my gosh, I remember this tree. Me and my grandpa like carved our initials in it. Well, he of course shows up. He's always showing
He's
up
always showing.
with the dog in tow. But so he's always going on walks with the dog, and they're just really close to one another. Their ends are. But so he shows up, and he's like, oh, I don't want to bother you, we'll leave. She's like, no, I want to show you this. And then he like kind of gives her a hard time about like, well, typically it's like a boyfriend and girlfriend that's carves their initials in a tree, not a grandpa and granddaughter. They're kind of laughing. It like breaks the ice. They're kind of being more flirtatious with one another. And it's like it's become easier for them to banter and just be around each other as being more pleasant.
They're getting more comfortable with each other.
And she shares, what that means to her. It meant a lot to her that her grandpa did that. And so she shares like a childhood memory with him, and he wants to reciprocate that. So go ahead.
Yeah. So he takes her to his side of the property and shows her a snow-covered pond. There's a sweet little story that he tells her. I think we won't tell that. We'll save that for those of you who want to read it.
And let's just say it has to do with his mom.
It has
the
to do
memory
with his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they go back to Julie's house and they decorate the tree together. And this was kind of an eye roll moment for me. They get the ladder out, and he, climbs the ladder to, I guess, put up the angel
tree
on the top of the tree.
Yeah.
What do you think happens?
What? They have a moment. They kiss.
He falls off the dog.
She's up on the ladder. So what do you think happened?
Yeah, she's up on the ladder. The dog comes in, sees the cat. Well, they start chasing each other.
Tip the ladder.
And
He
she falls off
into
and he
his
catches
arm.
her. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, okay, you got to have a woman falling off a ladder and a man catching her.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, in the process of that happening, Julie's beloved tree topper falls off the tree and breaks.
Which was very sentimental.
Very
It belonged to her
sentimental.
grandma. It was very old. It was like an heirloom.
Yeah, it's irreplaceable. I guess the next day or whatever, Julie finally gets the call that she's been waiting on. They want to bring her in for an interview, but she realizes after she gets the call, she's finding that she's not as excited about it as she was initially. She had expected to be like, oh my gosh, I finally got it.
Yes.
But that wasn't her experience with it. So she's going to have to leave 2 days after Christmas. She's going to have to cut short her visit with her parents and her grandmother. So now she's starting to feel conflicted about what she really wants. After this happens, Nolan goes to his barn. And do you remember what happens here, Jessica?
Well, okay. So he says up in the loft, there were like some boxes of old Christmas ornaments that his mom, because they just boxed stuff up. And what was really sad, a little bit earlier on, we find out that like his grandpa / dad, like tore up or burned or threw away like all like pictures, like photos of like their Christmases together and stuff.
I can't imagine being in such grief that you would destroy
the
pictures.
memories that you have.
Yes. And so now Julie came across some pictures in like the attic of her grandma's inn, and she came across an old picture of like Nolan's dad or his granddad or maybe both of them or whatever. And, and the mom too.
And I think it was a picture of them at one of
the
these
Cozy
Christmas
Holly
parties.
Inn Christmas party or something like that, right? Where and so she's like, you know what? I'm going to give that to Nolan because I think he had mentioned to her that they destroyed a bunch of the pictures and stuff. So she had that. So then he discovers when he's looking through his mom's stuff, because when they were decorating at the inn, he was helping Julie decorate the tree, and they had that tree topper. He recognized it. He was like, that looks familiar, but then he kind of dismissed it. But then he's going through the box of his mom's old stuff, and he finds her tree topper, and it's almost a replica of the one that Julie had that broke. So guess what?
Guess what's on the tree?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to give Julie the tree topper.
And he's a little bit conflicted about giving it to her because it was his mom. So he has a little bit of a sentimentality attached to it too.
And he feels responsible for breaking because it was his dog that was chasing the cat, which they're both responsible, but really nobody's fault. But
plus, you've got that whole, when you're starting to get feelings for someone, you just kind of want to do
you want to do nice things for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, he winds up taking the tree over there, or taking that topper to give it to her. I don't think he does it at this point, but he makes the decision he's going to do that.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like at one point they is it at the same time where she gives him the picture, he gives her the tree topper?
Yeah, I think that happens a little bit later.
So,
They sort of wind up giving to each other. It kind of goes to another day. She's getting all the cleaning done. Well, she hears that the storm of the century is about to hit Boston, which worries her because her parents are flying into Boston to go pick up the grandmother. Well, she's worried that if they can't get her here, then her grandma's going to miss the party. So there's a little bit of drama with all that. So then we get to the point where Nolan, she gives the picture to Nolan. So that moment sort of happens.
They exchange those two things at some point.
Yeah.
And it really means a lot to Nolan that because she just happened to come across the picture and she realized who it was. And so it meant a lot to him that she gave that to him. And he thought, and I think even she maybe mentioned to him, was like, I thought maybe you could show this to your grandpa, to your dad and grandpa, and maybe that would bring back some good feelings for them. And he does. And they kind of start talking about some old times, and you're like, oh, okay, well, they're thawing a little bit. Yeah. They started talking about some fun memories, good memories of Christmas. And he's just kind of like, I feel like he's very like tentative, like, how long is this good feeling going to last?
Yeah. But that picture sort of brought the thawing process. I
think that was like the catalyst for it to start happening.
So Nolan, after he shows them the picture, and they start talking about all the memories and stuff, the part still has not come in yet. So at this point, they still are not sure they're going to be able to have the party, because if that part doesn't come in, they can't get the catering certificate. Right.
Yeah.
So Nolan sort of jokingly says, well, Grandpa, didn't you say that the inspector owes you a favor or something? He says, maybe you can call him. Well, Grandpa so all of a sudden looks real uncomfortable and says, well, that may not be possible. But then the chapter ends, so you're like, okay, what's going on there? So
interesting,
like, what has the grandpa done to maybe try to sabotage this Christmas Eve party?
Exactly, right. Well, and that was kind of where my mind thought. I was like, he's trying to sabotage this Christmas party because he wants to make sure they're not going to renege on their business deal.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Julie, she's continuing to get things ready, even though she's not sure what's going to happen because of the storm, and she's waffling back and forth on, does she want to stay? Does she want to go? She's starting to think more about staying because, as she's getting the inn ready, memories are starting to come back. She's finally starting to realize, this might not be a bad place to stay. The day before the party, where's the inspector?
In Boston.
He went to a Bruins game.
Yep. And who gave him tickets to the game?
Nolan's dad or grandma. So then again, you're like, okay, they are sabotaging this.
Yeah. But she did get the plumbing situated, and it was like, good. All we need now is the inspector to come. And
we just need the inspection.
Oh, he's stuck in Boston. He's snowed in. He can't get there. There's no way he's going to be able to get there in time. And so it's like, what are we going to do? Yeah. We're not going to be able to have the party now.
So Julie actually talks to her grandma. Is it her grandma or Myrtle? She talks to one of them.
Both of them, I think.
And she's like, because she feels like her grandma's looking so forward to this. She was like, I might need to break the
news that it might not happen.
This may not happen. Well, I think it's Myrtle that says, you know what? Don't worry about it.
Yes,
I've got an idea.
Myrtle.
Yeah. Myrtle says, I've got an idea. You keep getting things ready. Let me take care of it from here.
Yeah.
And Myrtle is the top that she's going to get her way.
Happen,
yeah. So she continues on. And of course, the caterer is starting to get nervous because this is a pretty big event.
Well, and I'm sure she needs to prepare.
Yeah. She needs to go get
shopping.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth.
You don't want to go buy $5,000 worth of groceries and then not have a party.
Yeah, you're stuck.
So Myrtle, she marches herself over to talk to Nolan's granddad, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was just because I think
Julie's kind of watching from a distance.
Yeah, because Myrtle suspects that he had something to do with it, with the inspector not being able to be here to get that inspection done. So
I could just see Myrtle going over there and saying, listen here.
Yeah, shaking that bony finger.
Yeah, I could just picture
What did you do?
Yeah.
And so they talked privately.
And of course, you got to remember, Myrtle and Ida have a little manipulative ploy going on because really they want her to stay. And I think they probably even hope that Nolan and Julie will get together. So they've noticed that they're starting to hang out and talk a little. So they are not wanting anything, not even Nolan's dad and grandpa to mess this up.
And for some reason, there seems to be some type of a issue between Ida and Nolan's granddad where they don't really like each other. And you're kind of wondering why. You're left to wonder why. What happened? What kind of altercation?
Did we ever find out?
Something?
And I just forgot?
Yes. Because, and all it was, he was upset because she never invited him to her party.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's well, and maybe she thought you didn't like her, and what was the point of inviting you if you weren't going to come
and
or
your next
whatever?
Just go.
Yeah, just go to it. Yeah.
So I think that's what it boiled down to was, well, I got my feelings hurt because she never invited me. Because you invite most of the town to these parties.
Which is in poor taste, but
but I think by him admitting to it,
but they had a little bit of a little thing going on. So anyway, so long story short,
but Myrtle worked it out with him that they would use their kitchen at the B&B because they're not far from one another.
Yeah.
So
there's literally just a little path between the two.
Because they could prepare the food elsewhere and bring it in. They just couldn't prepare it at the end without the inspection and their certificate or whatever it was. So, and they had a sled that they used to use back in the day when the mom was still alive, when Nolan's mom was still alive, and she loved
horse-drawn sleigh.
Everything about Christmas. So they would do a horse-drawn sleigh. They would give people rides and all this. And of course they hadn't done it in years, and she passed away. So they have an idea well, we got to get the food quickly from one place to the other while it's still hot, still warm. So it's let's use the sleigh and we can take a little shortcut to get across the field or whatever. And so that's what they did. And the dad, I think it was Nolan's dad, was the driver of the sleigh. And so they were able to transport the food from their inn to Cozy Holly Inn. So save the day. They can still have the party. Party is still on. And they're working together for a change, not against each other.
Yeah.
So then the party is here.
The party is here.
And it is a success. In every sense of the word, as so many people show up. I mean, the town has been buzzing about this party, the whole book.
Yeah. It's a small town when a Christmas party is the focus of the town.
Right. Yeah, that's the biggest thing of the year.
Yeah. So many people come, and Julie has just taken painstaking efforts to just clean and get it perfect and decorated, and she really wanted to impress her grandma with all that she had done, and everything's just going so well. And so Nolan, he is starting to think, man, I really do have feelings for her, and I don't want her to go. Because she's still well, I've got this job interview, and she told him about it, and and he's just oh man, I thought I would have a little bit longer with her, but she's going to have to be leaving sooner than maybe anticipated. And he's I think I should tell her. I think I should tell her that I don't want her to go. I mean, and again, back to your point of he's not even at the point of saying, I'm in love with you. He's just like, I want you to stay so we can get to know each other.
So they
better.
can pursue
something. And see if love can happen. So go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. I think Myrtle and Nolan's dad decide that they're going to work together to try to run the two inns.
Well, Ida and Nolan's grandfather, they sit down and they just hatch out a plan that they're going to co-own or something like that, where they're going to work together. And because Julie, to a certain point, you're like, okay, what is Julie going to do here? Is she going to... This is what I thought, because this is probably the first time I've read a book electronically. So I honestly, I didn't know where I was at in it. I didn't know how much longer I had.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have in a book.
So I didn't know. I was like, because I was expecting her to like go back to Boston and then have a change of heart.
And that didn't happen.
And it didn't happen, because I was like, wait a minute.
So basically she just decided, I really want to stay and help my grandma run this inn. And so that's what wound up happening.
Because people were kind of pressuring her for an answer. They were like, are you going to stay? Are you going to stay? What are you going to do? Yeah. And she finally just kind of blurts it out like, I'm staying.
Yeah.
And then you just think, well, was that just in the moment, in the heat of the moment? You just said that. Do you really want that? Do you really mean that? I was they could have kept going. I feel like they could have kept going with it, where she's like, wait a minute, I made a mistake. I just blurted that out. Yeah. No, I think I'm going to go do the interview. And
this is book 1 of a series. So there, I think there's another book after this. So yeah, the story's not over.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, they could have kept going with this.
Yeah, yes. And I believe book 2 is Christmas themed. I think all the books in the series are Christmas themed. Okay. So I would imagine book 2 probably takes over the next Christmas. Yeah.
Okay, now that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because there's usually really more happens. Of a conflict of... Yeah. No, I want to pursue my dreams. I'm going to leave all this behind. And he was just like, of course, that's what he wanted to hear, Nolan. He wanted to hear that she was going to stay. He wanted her to. And he was just like, are you sure this is what you want? And it kind of just ends there, where it's like, okay, well, I guess she's staying, and they get to just see where this relationship might go.
Yeah. So if you want to see what happens in Julie and Nolan's life, you got to read book 2.
Got to read book 2.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed this book. What did you think of it? Is this the kind of book that you typically would pick up and read?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think so. I think this is a typical book for me. That's why I
Now, do you wish there had been more romance, or was it enough for you?
No, it was enough.
It was enough.
I would say it was enough for me. Because they finally did kiss, right? Did they finally share a kiss?
Toward the end,
very, very end. I think there was a missed opportunity one time. I think that was when the whole tree debacle thing.
They were just about to kiss when that whole debacle happened. Yeah.
And there's always near misses.
Yes.
And so I think they did. I think they did share a kiss at the very, very, very end. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And again, if it continues on as a series, right? Then there's still so much more to explore there between those two.
So what about you, Melissa? Is this, and just hearing us talk about it, does this sound like a book you want to read?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, I need to get this book and read, especially knowing that there's more too, after that. So I enjoyed, listening to y'all talk about that, and I think I'll probably get it and read it.
Yeah.
So.
Do you like books with romance, or do you like books with how much romance do you like in a book?
Like this, like you're saying. I like that part of it too. Not that, we said earlier, where it's like, this page here, and then 2 pages later, it's already like there's so much in love, and it's kind of like a storyline to it and building up to.
Yeah. Well, and maybe it's just because I'm a guy. I hate smoochy. Yeah. Oh, he looked at me, a bolt of lightning just shot down my spine. I hate stuff like
lightning
that.
In a bottle.
Yeah. Do you like stuff like that?
No,
sometimes
I can totally relate to what you're saying.
Sometimes
it can be overdone. I think.
Yeah. I think when I was younger, when I was like young and inexperienced, I was like, oh,
yes.
That's the way it's going to be for me. It works. It's like the more life you live and experience, you're like, that is.
That is definitely a fictional tale of love. Yeah. Well, this was to me was a very fun book. I really like the author. Like I said, this is the second one I've read of hers. So I may go. I'm not a huge series reader. I don't always finish series, so I may at some point pick up. For those of you that listen, if you're on Kindle Unlimited, this book is on Kindle Unlimited, so you can read it. I always hate it when people say for free. You're not reading it for free because you're paying $14 a month to read the books.
For the books, yeah.
You can read as many books as you want through Kindle Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get this again, Christmas at Cozy Holly Inn.
Yeah.
By Meredith Summers. Any last thoughts on it, Miss Jessica?
No, I mean, I think we have discussed it very thoroughly, but it was a good read. It was a quick read and it was fun, and you didn't have to like think too hard. You just got to read, enjoy it.
Yeah, it was a quick read. I liked that there wasn't a lot of angst in it. You know, sometimes books have way too much angst in it. So there's none of that. You do have your typical conflicts. I mean, you got to have some sort of conflict in a book. So highly recommend it. It's not a deep book. It's not a heavily emotional book. For me, it was definitely a 5-star read. Melissa, thank you for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Your first podcast episode.
I had a great time with you guys.
So if we do it again, would you like to come on again? Maybe we can all read the same book.
Yeah.
You'll get to read it this time, so you can actually talk about the story a little with us.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do that in 26, and we'll bring Melissa on again where she can actually engage in more of the conversation. Okay, so we're going to get off here because we've been on here for a little bit. I just want to wish all of you listeners a happy Christmas, a Merry Christmas. This will be our last episode of the year. Yeah. It's hard to believe we've been at this almost 2 years. So
crazy.
We'll be back in January. We've got a author, R.M. Snyder. I talked to her probably about a month and a half ago. That'll probably be the first one to air in January. My book, War Songs, that's coming up. Charity and I did I've had a lot of people asking about that, about talking about one of my books. So that'll be coming in January. We've also got a book that we're doing by Susan Meisner. It's a Christian fiction book. It's called A Fall of Marigolds. I'm reading it now, almost done with it. So that'll be coming in January. We've got some great author interviews coming up. I'm working again with Baker Publishing to bring in some of their authors. I just want to thank all of you guys for sticking with us, for listening to us. We sure love knowing that you guys are out there. Have a Merry Christmas, and we will talk to you in 2026.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Bookish Introverts Podcast, where together we explore the worlds within the pages. Until next time, stay bookish.